28 years later, the Bone Temple review. Let's get right into this. And honestly, this movie is absolutely amazing. Like, on my letterbox, I gave it probably like I gave it a 4 out of 5. And yeah, this movie's great. In comparison to the first 20 years later, because this is a trilogy after all. I still don't know. I'm still conflicted which one I like more. I will say this: 28 years later, the Bone Temple, what it has going for it, which may give it the edge, because I need to rewatch it as well. I've seen the first 20 years later, that one, 3 times. I rewatched it earlier today, just so that I was kind of just pretty much caught up again, essentially, just so that I didn't miss anything. Because this movie, from what I was hearing, was supposed to pretty much just start right off from where we left off in the first movie. And I'd say so. Yeah, it did. But then again, like the director was saying, what's her name? Nia, my bad. I always mispronounce names. But she was saying it's like a standalone sequel. It is like a sequel, but also it's kind of like standalone as well. But yeah, I can definitely see that, because it's not like it heavily goes into it, but it does help to know the context of the characters, so you can get the full, I guess, weight of it, if that makes sense. Because certain things, especially in the third act, like the reason why all that stuff is satisfying is, I'd say largely due to the context of the first part, what happened in that. But yeah, besides the point, there's that in comparison to the first movie. And let me say here, what else? This movie, it's true. This movie is very different. If you're looking for Infected, this is not the movie. Go to a different 20 or a different movie from the franchise. This one is more so about the, I guess, civilization within it, more so the evil bad side of it, but also the good too, because Dr. Kelson, right? Dr. Kelson, he is, we did find out in the first part he was misunderstood. And in the second part, he's even more he proves that he's really just about helping people, saving people. Just like, what the ideology of any doctor should be, right? And especially, it's interesting because it's in a it's in like a post-apocalyptic world. That's why it's interesting. Because everyone now has changed. No one's like how they would be in like present day in like real life if society was just like normally functioning. Everyone is just for themselves. They don't really care about others. Meanwhile, he's like the only doctor there, right? And he cares about even Samson, right? Alpha Samson. And Alpha Samson has literally been trying to slime him out every day, right? Trying to literally just eliminate him. And even then, he still has sympathy and compassion for him. And this kind of goes into it, but when you see the needle drops, I love that, the whole vinyl thing of it. No, I always mispronounce as well. Duran, right? Duran. Like, banger song. I always listen to that song. Another few, a few more songs there as well. And then also, there's another needle drop for Radiohead. So within like a year, we got the one from Daredevil Born Again for the same song. That was also in 20 years ago, the Bone Temple. Banger song was Everything, Everywhere, All at Once, Everything, All at Once. I forget the name of it, but it's a banger song. Okay, everyone knows that song. But yeah, those 2 songs in particular, great songs. I listen to those quite often. So I really like those, and I forget which one was it for. Yeah, the Duran Duran one was first. Yeah, that was the first one. And I did like that one quite a bit because I like that song a lot. That's why. So even if the thing wasn't like, maybe I'm just overrating it, but in my mind that was epic. Okay, it was fire. And you also see him. I think that was the one where he's connecting, where Dr. Kelson is literally connecting with Samson, and it's just cool seeing it. Like, especially when you see, fast forward a bit, when you see Samson speaking his first words essentially, and like the doctor is just, the look on his face. And this goes back to also Ralph Fiennes, right? Hopefully I said his name right. I always mess it up as well. His performance, great. Like, we know he's a goated actor, but man, like, we'll get into it in a second, but the third act, killed it in that. But throughout these entire 2 movies. Like, he was my favorite character in the first movie, 20 Years Later. And I'm like, please have this movie, The Bone Temple, be focused more on him. Because I felt like his character should have got more screen time compared to what it was in the first part. And lo and behold, guess what happened? It was. So my prayer was answered. But also, like I said, that's one thing I wanted, and they fully delivered on that. His character got a satisfying arc conclusion there, because he did die. Okay, and yeah, that was pretty unfortunate. But at least it was worth the sacrifice. And I kind of, you kind of could see it coming. He doesn't really have much going on in his life, right? And that was kind of even established in the first part. But I guess another theme that I liked was how, like I said, it's pretty much good versus evil, the types of humanity that are left of factions. Because you have the whole Jimmy gang, which I haven't really talked about much. But man, they are insane. They are insane, to say the least. Jack O'Connell again as Jimmy Crystal, an absolute menace. Absolute, like, no care in the world. Just, yeah, he's diabolical. He's literally diabolical. What a year he's been having, right? Well, it's the new year now, but yeah, what a like stretch he's been having this last year or so. Absolutely insane. His character was definitely, I definitely hated him. At times, yeah, I'd say at times frightening as well. Especially the part where they're scanning the people, where he's this guy with no remorse. And then on top of that, when there's that scene with the one Jimmy Gang member, she gets like the hook, like just right in her back. I'm like, that's satisfying. And then this guy, Jimmy Crystal, is losing his mind. He's like, bro, he's fuming. He's literally so mad, man. Yeah, but that scene was intense when they're all, when there's literally scanning those people. That was insane. That was insane. But I did like how throughout the movie you just see them slowly go down. Every so often you see one of the Jimmy Gang members just get eliminated, and it works out in the end. But yeah, like I was saying, it connect like the main theme of this movie is the good versus the evil of like the type of factions or the humanity side of it. Because like, the Jimmy Gang, absolutely evil, the worst, like what you would imagine in a post-apocalyptic world where there's no rules, right? There's nothing going on now. Everything is, unsanctioned. You can do literally whatever you want. No one's gonna stop you. People might stop you, but you can do something to them too, right? Like, you can literally do anything. Nothing will happen. There's no consequences, right? That's the thing. So you're gonna see the real side of people. That's what it is. Like, push the furthest you can think of. And literally, Jimmy is literally, like, later in the movie especially, they go heavy on the whole thing about him being related to, I don't want to say his name, but, related to the big red guy. Just being a whole believer in that versus Dr. Kelson, who, was labeled by Jimmy as, pretty much like a hardcore atheist. And kind of due to his beliefs in more so like the scientific side. Whereas Jimmy, he believes in, I guess, in a way, he does believe in faith, but it's in the most like twisted way, right? Like literally twisted, upside down cross. You know what I mean? I know I'm all over the place, but literally the fact, like, after that, you see him in the third act, like near the end, him getting crucified, but of course it was upside down, right? And then he sees Samson, and then he's like seeing the horns of Samson, like that's perfect. That's perfect. Okay, the messaging there is absolutely perfect. That's all I can really say. What else was there? Was it Jimmy Inc? I think it's Jimmy Inc. I think it was, yeah. That Jimmy Gang member, I thought she was like, either her or Kelson, Dr. Kelson, were, those are my top two, to be honest. I think still have the doctor, number one, but yeah, she was his clutch because she wasn't like the main thing is that she wasn't like, she was different compared to the rest of Jimmy Gang members. She wasn't really like that. She was, she thought critically. She wasn't just like a follower, you know what I mean? She still had her own mind, still had technically her own morals compared to the rest of them. And yeah, she was even there, just technically helping our, well, who was our main character, right? Spike in the first part, but in the second part, he's more so. I wouldn't say he's the main character. You can definitely argue that the main character was, in my opinion, Kelson, right? Because everything converges in the end with him as well. Like, he is the main focus of the movie. I think that's pretty clear. Yeah, like, great performance by her, as that Jimmy Gang member. And in the end, when you see in the third act, I guess we'll talk about the third act now. When she literally just stabs. Like, the whole, let's talk this whole thing, okay? The whole thing. So, Jimmy Crystal, he meets up with Kelson, and this guy's waffling. This guy's spooked. He's just, like, making this stuff up on the fly, trying to... He's like... He knows that his followers of the Jimmy Gang are just gonna believe him. About, oh, this is their god. What name do you have for them? What name do you have? Oh, I've heard the name he was using, but... Yeah, he's trying to convince them this is him. This is him because Jimmy Inc. said, oh, this is him in real life. I saw him in real life, and then it turned out to be the doctor. Yeah, like, literally, this just kind of proves how people, like, it is like a cult, is it not? And even if you compare to real life cults, people get stuck into believing this, right? They're like, oh, they just get fixated on believing anything that the leader says and thinking they can't be wrong, they can't do any wrong. And then look this dent goes through here. But yeah, anyways, he makes a whole plan with Dr. Kelson after threatening him to just, lie about being the god, and then, we'll part our ways, and that's it. You'll get to live. And, like, Dr. Kelson knows, come on, like, this guy, he's still gonna probably kill me regardless. So at least I need to, like, do something. And he tried to get Samson involved, but, Samson, was doing his own thing, trying to become, well, getting his senses back. Because it's a weird one, because Samson was technically, like, he's still, like, infected. Well, kind of. He's like a hybrid. I don't know how to describe it. He's kind of like a hybrid. Because he has those senses back, but he still is, I'd say, infected. But then again, he's not fully infected like how the other ones were. And as soon as normal, every other infected realized that when he was on the train, they all went after him. Because, yeah, they kind of just realized. I guess his stench must have changed or something. I don't know. Something like that. Because they realized, oh, this guy, he's not one of us anymore. He's an op. He's an op. Yeah, that was another good part as well. But, yeah, going back to the third act, you got the whole ring of fire part. Absolutely insane. Like, I was not expecting, like, this goes back to the, Ralph Fiennes, just his performance. Like, I was not expecting him, like, in the trailer. I saw the scene and I'm like, what could this mean? But seeing the whole context of it is literally him just performing, like, a concert, essentially, of, was it, like a metal song, right? Yeah, he's just going crazy. He literally went crazy performing on it, literally making himself seem like he's crazy. He even painted himself, right, to have the appearance and everything. You see him, like, doing these cool tricks with the fire, and then this man's literally teleporting. He's literally teleporting too. And then he has the lights everywhere to make it look even more devious than, at night. It's great stuff. Like, as soon as the ring of fire started, I'm like, oh my god, this is gonna be it. And then he's talking to Jimmy, and then Jimmy's going with the whole script thing, and Dr. Kelson he's following it even though he doesn't want to. He's like, I just want to live, whatever. But then he realizes that Spike is there because he sees his eyes, and then he gets him, like, takes the mask off and he sees it, and then that's where everything changes. He's like, now's one more condition, and then this is where the things start heating up because it's not a part of Jimmy's plan. The doctor's going off the plan here, and Jimmy's like, you sure about that? And I'm like, okay, here we're gonna get some deaths here. And what happens? Yeah, the doctor's like, yeah, we're gonna get you on here. We need to sacrifice you, my son, right? Because I am your father. So yeah, we need to sacrifice you. And then that's where the whole fight happens. And it's all due to the doctor realizing that Spike is pretty much just being held captive, hostage by Jimmy and the whole gang. And that's the only way, like, he's like, this is not right. And that, like I said, two sides of humanity, right? Jimmy is literally the epitome of just pure the baddest of the worst in this world. And the Doctor is, I probably said, the best side of humanity during this. So the two sides like that, that theme, just the way they did that, absolutely great. But you see them all fighting, and then the Doctor eventually, he gets stabbed. I'm like, God damn it, we're gonna see him die. And then but also you see then Jimmy Ink just killing a few of them, and then you see even Spike, he stabs Jimmy Crystal, and I'm like, let's go, screw this guy. And Jack Connell's performance, he made me really hate him. So by the time the end of this movie came and I saw him just get stabbed, I'm like, let's go, this is hype. But I was very sad when the Doctor eventually did die, and then Samson was there, but he had some last words with Samson and stuff. So that was cool to see that he could finally see Samson in that form, finally. And I guess it kind of was alluded that the Doctor was going to be at the end anyways, because of the whole thing with the needles, right? Well, I don't know if it's antidotes, but there's only 2 weeks of them left anyways for Samson, and then I feel like that kind of could have been foreshadowing it. Then he helped him with the other, medicine. It was kind of like a miracle. But yeah, that's besides the point. We finally then see, oh man, before what was her name? Her name was Kelly, right? And then she says, Spike, my name's Kelly. After the whole thing happens, as they were leaving, they did one last favor for the Doctor, which was putting Jimmy Crystal, right, upside down like that. I talked about the meaning there for that. Upside down, like the cross, right, being crucified. And then, like I said, we see Samson, and he spooked Samson. He sees a whole different version of Samson. And then what happens after that? Let me see. Yeah, Samson is just carrying the Doctor away, and that was about it there. But yeah, obviously, me describing it is not as good as actually watching it. Me describing it sounds kind of lame, but it's very rich in themes. Like, oh my god, I couldn't believe that was like the last 20 minutes or so, and then after that, guess what? We go forward and we see the goat. We knew the goat was going to be back for part 3. And we also knew that he was probably going to be at the end of this movie. And they did confirm that a while back. So I was expecting it. And it wasn't a post-credit scene. It was actually a part of the last scene of the movie. And, you see the goat killing Murphy. And he's there, with his daughter, right? And, they're talking about school, etc. And then, the whole exam thing they set up. Besides the point. And then she hears stuff. She hears stuff, and then they go out to look outside, and guess what? There's a whole bunch of infected chasing none other than Kelly and Spike. And then what was it? And then the daughter, she's like, "Oh, Dad, should we go help him?" And then I think he says yeah, right? And yeah, I'm pretty sure he says yeah. And I was interested to see how they were gonna make all these Spike, Kelly. Spike is our main character technically, so how are we gonna see him eventually cross paths with Cillian Murphy, his character? So this is how they're doing it, and this is great because the third part, it's already greenlit, and I'm expecting the third part to be very, very different, even compared to his first two. To be honest, they're gonna go all out for that, and I'm interested because obviously they had to make some big decisions in this part. Obviously, killing the Doctor was the main thing, but also here's another thing for Jimmy Crystal, we didn't actually technically see him die. That was my thing. The Doctor, we saw him die, so that he's done with. But I guess another question is what did Samson do with the Doctor? Maybe that's gonna get answered. But yeah, Jimmy, he didn't actually die. He was just crucified upside, just hanging upside down. We didn't actually see him die. He was bleeding out and stuff, but still, we didn't see him die. So that'll definitely get answered as well, unless I'm misinterpreting it. The third part. And I'm curious to see who the villain's gonna be. Is it gonna be Jimmy again? Perhaps, I don't know. But the third part has a lot more. They have a lot more stuff. A wide range of stuff they can do in the third part. I can't lie. So I'm very excited for the possibilities of it. And yeah, I mean, I don't know. Unless I missed it, did I miss Aaron Taylor Johnson? Like I don't. I thought we were gonna get some questions or answers about him, like on Spike, like looking for Spike or something. But unless I missed it, I don't think he was in this movie, right? He wasn't in the second one. So maybe in the third part we see something about that. And yeah, I'm hoping we get more in the third part, more backstory on Kelly, because her character is very interesting, especially like the whole arc that she had. And I feel like it kind of set her up to be one of the main characters of the movie, right? So, anyways, I think I'll leave it off there. Very good movie. Like, it's kind of sucks that they released it in January. So, like, I like that it came out so soon after, at least from like just a fan perspective, but also at the same time, it's kind of suffering like from like a lack of marketing, also because it's so close to the last release. Like the marketing for this movie could have been better. And yeah, I don't know. The box office right now definitely could be better if they marketed it right. But the word of mouth is insane. Like everyone that's seen it, even the fans, that you saw cinema score scene, it's like it was an A- for this type of movie. Like I guess it's considered, yeah, it would be considered like a horror movie. Yeah, very very good. So hopefully the word of mouth helps this movie, and it legs up. But yeah, go watch the movie if you haven't already. It's very good, and let me know what you think down below. I would definitely recommend this movie, and like I said, it's like a 4 out of 5. That's why I gave it on Letterboxd. And yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you next one. Peace.